Hey, Dog Nation, I'm Brandon Adams. Welcome into game day here around Miami. As you can see, we're just outside the stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida, where coming up later on this evening, it's Georgia versus Michigan in the college football playoff semifinal, the Orange Bowl, and we'll be inside the stadium a little later on. We'll give you live video coverage from in there. Hope to be able to show you the team arriving here in just a little bit, but I've had a chance to be outside the stadium the last few minutes, and, I tweeted about this yesterday that for a few days around here, and part of this is just due to the fact that Miami's kind of an international city. There's always lots of things going on. Also because the activities around this bowl in particular really spread out, that you didn't really have a big college football vibe around this game in this town for a couple of days. That's all changed a lot in the last 24 hours. You started to see more of the Michigan fans, the Georgia fans flying in to the Miami area, whether they're utilizing the Miami airport, the Fort Lauderdale airport, more folks flying in. Been having a chance to walk around and see a lot of the tailgate action today. There are a lot of Michigan fans here. There are a lot of Georgia fans there too. Difficult to tell right now which fan base has the overwhelming majority or even the majority, but there is clearly a strong representation from both sides. Kind of assumed this. Michigan has not been in the playoff before, haven't really been, relevant on the national stage in quite some time. Obviously a cold weather state like Michigan, chance to come down to warm weather here in South Florida. A lot of Wolverines fans going to take advantage of that. So you are seeing a lot of maize and blue right now. You are seeing a lot of Georgia fans right now. Too early to tell what the in-stadium split's going to be like, but pretty clearly both fan bases are going to be well represented. I mentioned the weather a moment ago, and it is hot. It is noticeably hot. I would say, I'm not a meteorologist, but I would say it is hotter today, at least to the way it feels to me, more humid than it has felt in the previous days that I've been here. I've been here since Tuesday night. So Wednesday, Thursday, to me, it was very pleasant to be outside. You could eat meals outside. Today feels a little bit more of, if you're outside for a while, you're going to notice it. The sun kind of beating down on my face right now. It's still very comfortable and pleasant, don't get me wrong, but I would say this is the kind of heat that does have the potential of impacting this football game. So depth is going to be tested. The stamina, the fatigue level of the individual players, that's going to be tested today there as well. I would say that it's warm enough right now that weather is at least a little bit of a factor in terms of how you manage that heat. That's one of the reasons why, with both teams, Georgia and Michigan, having the option of coming in 48 hours prior to the game because of the COVID protocols that are kind of hurriedly put in place. Neither team took advantage of that. Michigan flew in on Christmas Day. Georgia came in on the 26th. Both programs seemingly wanted to just get acclimated here. Now, obviously, the Georgians, the Georgia Bulldogs players, are, certainly conceivably a lot more used to this than the Michigan guys are because of the fact that Georgia's got a lot of players from the state of Florida, but Georgia's also, pretty hot and humid itself during the summertime. So it might stand to reason that Georgia itself is a little bit more comfortable with this, a little bit more used to it, but it is warm enough today, I would say, that you're talking about some sort of impact in this football game. Could you see some cramping at some point in time? Could you see, defensive linemen needing to be substituted more frequently? And if you're Georgia, obviously against a Michigan team that wants to also play at a pretty deliberate pace, you get the chance to substitute more freely than you might be able to do against a more up-tempo team where they're trying to force you to keep the same personnel on the field there. So that's kind of the scene here. Another thing that I've heard a little bit from on some Georgia fans, a lot of this has been through social media, is there have been some flight cancellations. Obviously, that's been a national story, beyond just what's going on with the the college football playoff. The fact that the Omicron variant of COVID-19 has caused a lot of airlines to make cancellations because of, I guess, limited personnel or whatever the reason, that they've done that. But that's now impacted folks here at this game there as well, where you do have, some Georgia fans who've reached out to me to say, hey, I was planning on being there. My flight got canceled on Friday morning. A lot of folks flying in the day of the game only to find out their flight was canceled. And now for some people, they're literally probably stranded at the airport and not going to be at the game, not going to be able to make that and be a part of that. So right now, that is an issue that some Georgia fans have dealt with. The notion that I'm trying to get some comments pulled up. Excuse me. The notion that some flights simply were not able to make this happen. I may not get a signal to cooperate here as far as my comments go. Try to pull up DogNation.com. Let me see if I have better luck on Facebook over here for a moment. We'll see if we can get a few comments. Looks like Facebook's going to work a little bit better. Yeah, Facebook is working a little bit better. Bill Kelly says it's cold where he is right now. Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be cold in Georgia this weekend. A dramatic difference from where it is for us right now, where the Weather's really, pretty fabulous. As I said before, it's warm for football, especially football being played here on the last day of December. But for the folks who are out here enjoying their tailgate, they're having a great time doing that. There's a lot of tailgating over here to my left. As I said before, you're seeing a pretty good collection of both Georgia and Michigan fans as a part of that. But everybody's kind of having a good time, and this feels very much like a big-time college football atmosphere. Now that you're day of the game outside the stadium, you're starting to see a lot of that. By the way, update on the score from the Cotton Bowl, the other national playoff semifinal game. Alabama has taken a 7-0 lead against Cincinnati. We'll keep our eye on that all day long. Willie Woods got his prediction. He likes the Dogs over the Wolverines by a final score of 24-17. Willie, I like the sounds of that there as well. Ken Feinberg asking if I got a haircut. No, I need a haircut. If anything, Ken, my hair's getting too long. Josh Beatty says heading to the stadium, or I should say Beatty, I guess. Josh Beatty says he's heading to the stadium in about an hour. Well, Josh, safe travels coming over. I can tell you the traffic around the Miami Gardens area was not too bad when I arrived today. Probably got here around 3 p.m. or so. Obviously, the expectation is that there's some construction in the area, and so some of the parking's limited because of that. And so with that in mind, there is there's going to be some confusion about getting to the various lots and things like that. So the earlier you can get here, I would say the better in terms of navigating all of that. But driving in when I did, getting here about 3 p.m. or so, things were certainly not too bad of a drive there at that point. Pete Ellis checking in from Flowery Branch. That's my old stopping grounds. I'm from that area. Henry Cabot Lodge also checking in on the subject of a lot of Wolverines fans, and there are a lot of them for sure. Rich Olenek says it was in the 60s today in Hall County, so I guess not too cold. At one point in time I heard it was supposed to be cold at home this weekend, but Rich says apparently that was not the case. Let's pop over here and get some YouTube comments there as well. Glad to have folks checking in. As I said before, we'll do another version of our Kroger Kickoff from inside the stadium in a little bit, kind of giving the scene from inside Hard Rock. Hope to be able to show you the Georgia players when they arrive. That's scheduled to take place in about an hour and a half from now. Folks over here on the YouTube side of things, talking about the Alabama-Cincinnati game. Yeah, we're going to be watching that closely here today. Obviously, Georgia fans will have keen interest on that because if Georgia takes care of its business today, that will become Georgia's opponent in the upcoming national championship game. And the Bearcats have now added a field goal, makes it 7-3 Alabama there as the Cotton Bowl plays on. We've talked a lot about MVPs and who might be the big player for a Georgia game like this. I like this answer from Brad Casty, who mentioned Jalen Carter. Obviously, Georgia has an incredibly deep and talented defensive line, and we've heard names from that defensive line even mentioned already this week as potential impact guys. I like the name Carter here in this particular instance. That's the kind of big athleticism that typically is supposed to separate the SEC from the Big Ten in situations like this. And so Carter's the kind of player, obviously in his home state of Florida. Carter's the kind of player that having a big game would certainly seem to make some sense. I like that suggestion from Brad Casty. Let's go, Brandon. If we end up playing Bama, will it be the first time two conference contenders face each other in the national championship? Well, of course, Georgia and Alabama also played for the national championship back in 2017 there as well. And actually, Alabama's also, played an SEC foe back in 2011 as well. Alabama beat LSU in 2011, beat Georgia in 2017. So a couple of the national championships for Alabama have been won in games against SEC foes, including Georgia itself back in 2017. Hale Rail's getting ready to go today. Glad to see him getting fired up. Thomas T-Bone says, hi, BA, Happy New Year's Eve, and Happy New Year's Eve to all of you, and hope you're getting ready to listen, if all goes according to plan, it actually sets up pretty well for you here today. You get a chance to watch the Georgia Bulldogs. You're celebrating a victory roughly around 11:30 or so. That kind of rolls right into midnight and ringing in the new year of 2022, so there could be a lot of fun and a lot of revelry tonight for Georgia fans if all goes according to plan. Of course, if things don't go that way, then I don't know that I've got much interest in the new year, other than to maybe just turn the page and hope for better results next time. But certainly, if the party is truly on tonight, with the ringing into the new year coming shortly after Georgia gets a big victory, that would be fun indeed. A few more YouTube comments. Mark Morris checking in to say, I want to see a physical whipping laid out on the Joe Moore Award winners. Nobody's saying nothing about our offensive and defensive line. Unleash it, dogs. I love that from Mark. He's fired up and he's ready to go. And I think he's right about that. That listen, the Michigan offensive line did win the Joe Moore Award. And, a lot of the praise that Michigan's gotten this week has clearly been justified. This is a good program, good team. Jim Harbaugh has kind of returned the Wolverines to relevance here again this year. But as Mark also points out, some of that chatter about Michigan has seemingly come at the expense of Georgia, where it seems like, and I don't have, thin skin about this, I'm just kind of pointing out the way it's been. It seems like that there seems to be a lost memory. People seem to have forgotten that Georgia was 12-0 and number one in the country for most of the regular season. And obviously the loss to Alabama impacts the way that Georgia's viewed now. I thought that Georgia's pregame hype video, the official video that the team puts out, I thought it was really strong in terms of referencing the idea that Georgia gets to reintroduce itself to the country here today. And the recipe for doing that is a lot of what Mark described there with his comment. So I think that's really well said by Mark, and I think that really does speak to exactly what Georgia wants to do today. Hungry, eager to be back on the national stage again, eager to show the entire college football world, because this is not just Georgia fans, Michigan fans who are tuning into this. This is everyone in the sport tuning in today to find out who the best of this sport's going to be for 2021, who will meet in January there in Indianapolis. So Georgia gets a chance, after having some doubters show up, after having some maybe criticism pop up, Georgia has a chance to go out there and speak to all of that today and really provide a resounding answer about exactly who it is that UGA is this season. I think Mark Morris says that well, and I can't wait to see Georgia do just that. We'll get a few more comments here, then we'll get ready to bounce out of here, and we'll come back live after that. Scotty Barnes giving a Happy New Year to the Dogs. Scotty, appreciate that. Brant Barber also says we need to play mad, like there is no tomorrow. We need to show why our defense is the best. Brandon, I think you're 100% right about that. That edge, that nastiness that you're talking about, that's exactly what Georgia needs today. I think you're 100% right. Thomas Van Santa, glad to have you here in the comment section. He says, no retreat, no surrender, go dogs, seek and destroy. Or he says, sick and destroy, obviously a reference to the canines language there for the dogs. I think that's good stuff. Back over here on Facebook for a couple of minutes. By the way, don't forget, check out Kroger for all your pregame party needs. New Year's Eve stuff. My wife went to Kroger earlier this week and kind of stocked up on some of those, party hats and the sparkling champagne for the kids, like the sparkling cider for the kids. So we had all kinds of New Year's Eve trinkets we brought with us down here to kind of celebrate with all of that. So get your pregame watch party needs, get your tailgate stuff, get your New Year's Eve party stuff, all right there at the same spot at Kroger for all of that. Make sure you check that out today. All right, a couple more Facebook comments. Jacob O'Neill worrying about Philip Jordan Wells. You haven't seen Philip Jordan Wells. Not sure. Barry Watkins says Alabama's running right now to set up the pass. So we'll keep our eye on that game. A lot of folks kind of checking in here. A lot of Georgia fans come by to hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Good to see you guys. Good. Y'all have a great time, okay? Good to see some Georgia fans here hanging out and having some fun. We paused the show on Friday or I should say, I get my days confused. We paused the show on Thursday to say hello to somebody that drove over to see us at the hotel, and a couple of Georgia fans walked by right there. So if you come by on a show, obviously we've got to try to do the show, but I don't mind stopping and saying hello and doing that if I can. So good to see good Georgia fans kind of checking in on all of that. And, of course, I appreciate your comments there as well. So here is what the rest of the day is going to look like around Dog Nation. Inside the stadium in a moment, there's obviously going to be a lot of eyes on what Georgia looks like in pregame warm-ups. Who all is here? Is there anybody that's not here? Does everybody look healthy? The status of Christopher Smith, the status of Jamari Salyer. On the Michigan side, a lot of attention being paid to Dax Hill, who I guess now has been reported that Harbaugh has let it be known that he is in Florida, but after being away from the team as long as he has been, how much, if at all, is he able to play here for this game there today? So that'll be interesting on the Michigan side of things there, too. And then throughout the day on Dog Nation, Connor Riley, Mike Griffith got you on the website. We'll be back live for our Kroger kickoff. Hopefully get a chance to show you the team as it arrives. And then after the game, from on the field, we'll do our Dog Nation post-game show presented by the UGA Bookstore, where hopefully, we are talking about a big win for UGA, a ticket punched to the national championship game, where we'll trade all the Hawaiian shirts that I've been wearing the last couple of days for very bulky, big sweaters, because no doubt it'll be freezing cold in Indianapolis come January. But let me tell you something. That cold, chilly air will be the best feeling I've ever had if Georgia can just get there. 60 minutes of full combat, hand-to-hand, football against these Michigan Wolverines at 7:30 tonight. Let's get ready to root the Dogs on to victory. One more pregame video for us. It comes up from inside the stadium here in a few minutes. So wanted to give you the scene right now from outside the stadium. Everybody having a good time, enjoying some beautiful sunshine weather, getting ready to ring in the new year and hoping to cheer on these Dogs to victory. So we'll see you back here in a little bit. Thanks for being on part one of our Kroger Kickoff, and we'll look forward to talking to you some more in just a little bit.